In a world of dragons, zombies, and open-world adventure games, millions of people are choosing to spend their free time power washing virtual driveways. These boring job simulators are breaking sales records. Power Wash Simulator alone sold over 3 million copies in its first 2 months. But why are we paying to do virtual chores after our real work? Work. Imagine coming home from a long day of work, sitting down to relax, and choosing to do more work. When I first heard about Power Wash Simulator, I actually thought it was a joke. Then I was on PlayStation Plus and I saw the Bee Simulator and I thought, that actually sounds quite fun. It made me realize that there are all these simulation games and they're all serving a different purpose. If we think about lifestyle simulation, you can think of Stardew Valley or The Sims. These games are usually trying to replicate real life scenarios. They have a big focus on the storyline and social interactions. The profession simulators try to recreate a specific profession, so think the flight simulators and the Euro Truck Simulator. These often depict real-world graphics. We then have the management simulators, think Two Point Hospital or the farming simulators, where they combine elements of lifestyle and also profession. The main focus is on management of some sort of resources for day-to-day operations. We then have task simulators, so think Power Wash Simulator or Lawnmower Simulator, where there is a single repetitive task and there's generally minimal narration and they usually don't have a complex storyline. To understand why these boring games are so addictive, we need to focus specifically on task simulators. Cleaning is boring, time-consuming, and often gross. No one wants to do it. No one schedules Power Wash the driveway in their calendar for fun. Yet when you read the reviews, people are saying things like, "This is the best single-player game I've ever played. I never thought I'd get hooked on a game where you power wash things, but here I am. This is the most satisfying game I have ever played, and I have almost 1,000 hours played. There are no words for how great this game is. I have absolutely no complaints for this game at all. 1,000 out of 10. I was kind of shocked to learn just how popular Power Wash Simulator is. They have generated an estimated $53 million in revenue. This doesn't even include their DLC content, which at the time of this recording, they have 6 available DLCs. It also has a very high positive review on Steam at 97%. Compare this to Counter-Strike 2 that sits at an 86% positive review. Hello, it is me. So while I was editing this video, I saw the announcement for Power Wash Simulator 2. Power Wash Simulator announced that not only would you have a home base, but you would also have a 38-level career. There is also an update to the split screen for co-op, and the soap system has been updated for a more satisfying feeling. Nice. The game is set to release in 2025, and you can currently add it to your wish list on Steam. There is this interesting paradox happening here. When you read the reviews, it's clear that people are coming home from stressful jobs and they are playing these virtual jobs to relax. Stressed out after a hard day at work, this game may be for you. This game is very nice to play after a long day of work. I work a 9 to 5 at Home Depot and come home and work a 9 to 5 power washing. But what's really fascinating isn't just how many people are buying these games, but why they are buying them. To understand why we are paying to do virtual chores that we avoid in real life, we need to understand what these games are doing to our brains, or as one reviewer put it, tickling our brains in a special way. And it starts with something called the perfect feedback loop. Something these games do perfectly is provide us with instant, clear feedback. When you power wash your driveway, water is splashing everywhere, you may have missed a spot, and you don't actually know how good of a job you've done until it dries. But in Power Wash Simulator, every single spray gives you perfect immediate feedback. You can see exactly what you've cleaned and a percentage of how long until the job is complete. This is pure satisfaction to our brains. If real-life chores came with a progress bar, our brains would love this clear, measurable progress, and we would most likely want to do chores and actually enjoy them. There's something deeply satisfying about before and after transformations, and these games tap into that perfectly. I instantly think of the Queen of Clean. She has amassed over 4.39 million subscribers at the time of this recording. Her subscribers tune in to see these dramatic cleaning transformations. Or even SB Mowing, who has amassed 2.62 million subscribers and makes videos on transforming overgrown grass into manicured lawns. Our brains love seeing this clear visual progress. Dirty to clean, messy to organized, chaos to order. Task simulators give us that same satisfaction, but we get to be the ones that create the transformation. These task simulators have removed all of the real-world frustrations, but left all of the satisfying elements. Think about everything annoying with cleaning in real life. It's time-consuming, there's prep work, there's fatigue involved, you have to use elbow grease. Now imagine all of that is just gone. When I lived in a house, we were preparing to sell the house, so I bought a pressure washer to clean the sidewalk and the driveway. Not only is the hose getting in knots or whatever, eventually the hose burst. And so I had to stop what I was doing, drive to Home Depot, try to figure out a hose that was strong enough not to burst with a power washer. By the time I got back, it was 3 hours later, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Became this 2-day time-consuming event because there's no pause or save button like there is in task simulators.
Put it on pause.
The game also has these perfect weather conditions. Essentially everything is perfect for you to power wash. I think what these games do really well, besides removing the frustration, is allowing us to see progress and feel achievement. I think inherently we all want to do a good job and we all want to work towards achieving something. The achievement system that these games use is set up in a way that breaks down these large tasks into manageable chunks, giving us the feeling of making progress and giving us motivation to continue. It is similar to real life. You may find yourself writing down the tasks you need to complete for the day. You may arrange those tasks from simple to hard.
There's no way this story is a 13. This is more like a 2.
And start by completing the simple tasks so that you're motivated to continue down to the hard ones. In PowerWash Simulator, it is very similar. You start simple by cleaning a van, but before you know it, you're onto these big projects like cleaning a mansion. Each job teaches you something new. Different dirts require different solutions, and there are different tools that work better on different surfaces. We progress and we obtain a sense of mastery and improvement, and this can lead to unlocking the achievement of Powerful Pressure Purist.
Nice.
These task simulator games provide the perfect stress-free environment, leaving us with only pure enjoyment. I actually saw one review that said, "It's made me want to quit my office job and open up a power washing business." I am all for entrepreneurship. But we have to remember these games have removed all of the frustrating, stressful, real-world elements. In PowerWash Simulator, you can't damage anything. I mean, in the real world, if you use the wrong pressure, you can literally power wash paint off of a car. There is also no real-world money at stake. There's no upset clients who are going to complain. There's no insurance cost or equipment maintenance. You're also free to experiment and to fail because at the end of the day, who's going to fire you? It is the perfect stress-free environment. All of these elements combine to create something interesting, a purely satisfying experience that tickles our brains. But this raises an even bigger question of why do we find this type of work so relaxing? When we look at some of the most popular games of all time, so I'm thinking World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Red Dead Redemption, they all have a level of fantasy that you can escape into. Whether you want to be an elf or an outlaw, there is a world for you to explore. These games provide a rich storyline and interesting character developments, as well as a way for you to socialize with your in-real-life friends or with your in-game friends.
All right, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Zero!
In World of Warcraft, you might spend hours working towards a goal and still fail. However, in Power Wash Simulator, every single action brings progress. There's no failing a power washing quest, just methodical, predictable success. Task simulators offer a different type of an escape into control and order. In a chaotic world with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of times what we crave is just predictability. This is exactly what the task simulators offer. This predictability does something else interesting. These task simulators are engaging us, but only enough to hold our attention. They're not overwhelming us in the way that, say, like a first-person shooter can. It creates this flow state where the player is engaged, but they can still multitask. Interestingly, a lot of players are playing Power Wash Simulator and listening to an audiobook or a podcast. Perfect game to play while I listen to audiobooks. Please buy this. The absolute perfect podcast boring Zoom meeting game.
Wait a damn minute.
implying that this person is playing a virtual work game while in a Zoom meeting for what we can assume is work. It seems these simulation games are satisfying our needs to relax and decompress, but at the same time creating this productive meditation state. I think this combination of gaming but listening to podcasts speaks on where we are as a society where we romanticize hustle culture. We can sometimes feel guilty, I know me included, for playing video games because I feel like I should be doing something more productive. But by playing these games that require minimal brain engagement, we can find a loophole to enjoy gaming, but also feel that we are being productive and learning a new skill from a podcast or audiobook. I think what this reveals about modern life, society, and work is that we're not that satisfied and we're actually quite stressed out. If I take myself as an example, working as a software engineer, there often isn't a clear path to promotion. There always isn't a clearly defined way of getting from junior to senior. Some things are more clearly defined than others, but we have words like impact. You need to have cross-domain impact. What does that really mean? What's the definition of impact, and how do you actually measure that? There's no clear do X, Y, and Z, and you will be promoted to X, Y, and Z. We often lack visibility in the workplace, endpoints. We often don't get feedback on our work. Whereas in these task simulation games, the work is measured and the task is clearly defined. In our modern work environments, you could spend weeks or even months on a project and not have anything visible to show for it. But in these task simulation games, every single action leaves a visible mark. The games have also clearly defined what is required to get bronze, silver, or gold on each level. It's like they're giving us the satisfaction that modern work often cannot give us. So while these task simulator games may seem silly at first glance, they're actually giving us something profound. A small space in our chaotic world where work always makes sense, progress is always visible, and satisfaction is guaranteed. Maybe we could all use a bit of power washing in our lives, not just to clean our driveways, but to wash away the stress of our unpredictable world.